Hi, my name is Manny Armanderis. I just want to give a little um, reflection on a video that I watched from Simon Sinek. It's called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. I want to give you a little bit of the insight that I've gained from it. What he talked about mostly was the golden circle. It's a bullseye with three different sections. The first section, the outer section, is what he called the what section. The next section is what he called the house section, and the middle or the bullseye is what he called the why section. So most companies work from the outside in. Most companies know what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing, and then the how is how they're doing it different than anybody else. But most people in the businesses, most employees don't know why they're doing something. So places like Apple, they're making big changes. They're actually working from the inside out, which is different than everyone else. So instead of saying, like most people, what they have, like this is our car, it's a great car, it has bucket seats and this and that, and then please buy it. It's more like what Apple says is everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe that thinking differently. We believe in thinking differently. We make products that are easy to use and user friendly. And would you like to buy a computer? So it's a lot different than this is what we have, this is how we do it, buy it. The Apple is more like we do things the best, and we try to do everything that's beyond the status quo, and we just happen to make computers. The next thing he talked about is how his diagram actually resembles a human brain. The middle section is what he would call the limbic part of the brain, and the outer section, which would have been the what, would have been the neocortex, which controls rational thought and language. The middle part, the limbic part, actually controls feelings, trust, loyalty, decision making, behavior. But it has no capacity for language. So it's mostly just feelings. It's just talking about feelings. So that's one of the reasons that Apple is so successful, is because they're inside out. They're telling you why they do stuff, and we do things the best we can. We don't take shortcuts. We're not like just trying to make money, the bottom line. We want to be the best at whatever we do. He also talked about how it's that you should hire people that believe what you believe. Don't just hire people because they need a job. Hire people because they believe what you believe. He gave an example of the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers actually hired people that believed in what they believed in because they didn't have a lot of money. The budget was really high. But there was another person named Samuel Pierpont Langley that the government actually gave $50,000. And in those days, that was a lot of money to work on a plane. But they didn't have the heart. He was into wanting to become more influential, and it was all about him just gaining notoriety and being the first and stuff like that. It wasn't really about what the Wright brothers were about, and that was to make something good for humankind. They actually wanted to do something for people, which was a whole different motivation and a more effective motivation. The next thing he talked about was the laws of diffusion, innovation, where he talked about tipping points, where we were saying the beginning is the innovators, the next ones are little adopters, the next ones are the early the early majority, and then the late majority. And he was saying in between 13% and 15% is actually what you have to hit, because you can get lucky and people are just get it are going to do the first prong, which is up to like 13%. But from the 13 to 15%, you actually have to sway these people, and that's the tipping point, and that's where actually things are going to actually be successful and gain longevity. He also talked about a failure. The failure he mentioned was the TiVo, because the TiVo just told you what they could do. It didn't talk about anything about why they do it. So TiVo has never really made money. It started out with like $30 a share, and now it's down to like $6 a share, and it really hasn't been past $6 a share. He also talked about Martin Luther King. He said he wasn't the only orator that was out there, so why were people following him? And he said the reason people were following him was because they believed what he believed. He talked about what he believed. That's all he talked about was what he believed. So the people that believed what he believed followed him, and they didn't follow him because they were just following him. They followed for themselves. They followed because he was talking about what they believed, and that's what they were part of, and that's why they were following him. It didn't really have a lot to do with him just being the leader that we're following, like because some people want to make it sound like people follow because they get brainwashed, but really a good leader isn't brainwashing people. They're just saying things that people relate to and people want to be part of. So I think that's kind of what I got the most out of, is maybe people want to be part of what you're doing, because if you don't make them want to be part of it, they're not going to be part of it.